The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Road to Grit, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Good morning and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Show. And indeed, we did not lie to you. We are back. We're back, baby. As usual, I am Barnzy, joined by the inimitable Beef Stew. How are you today?
Yeah, what's up, Chris? How are we doing?
Good to be back home for a few moments. So,
yeah, always nice.
Once in a while.
Yeah. And your setup wasn't totally destroyed. We didn't have to have 19 attempts to get everything started.
I walked back a half hour ago trying to set up and went, oh, hey, it all still works.
You know why it still works? Because Ryan hasn't been back either.
No, he has. He has been back for 5 days and he has moved in. He's here. So, League of Legends and I don't know, Rainbow Siege 6 and whatever else has been in full effect, I'm sure, for the last. But kudos. I came in. It was already set up to my stuff when I walked in. It was nice. It was nice.
Right. Look at Ryan being considerate.
Yeah.
See, he's just digging in for me because he knows how much it upsets me when your side doesn't work.
He's more scared of you than me.
Hey,
2 weeks, Mel's, I want to quit. Hallmark going on the Pro Tour. It's easier out there.
Yeah. I felt like that between games 1.5 and then 1.8 to like game 3. I had no doubles the first game, 180, and then I had one double which I followed up with an open, and then almost had the back 17 to finish the night. I've missed in the ninth frame of game 3, ended up shooting 690. So yeah.
All right.
Dreams do come true.
Yeah. I head to the U.S. Open Monday in Denver, and then we go to Reno for Nationals. Chris Martin, heal up quick. Appreciate you.
I go group, June.
Our group bowls end of the month, Friday, Saturday, I believe. So 29th or 29th, 30th, right before the Senior Masters. So,
yeah, not very often, that's for sure.
It's been forever. I mean, it's been a while since anybody won one, and then you had a bunch of guys win one. Yeah, it's wild. It's been quite a year, for sure.
And it was topped off by Ronnie Russell. They're making T-shirts about it. He turned around after beating EJ and said, "Daddy's back, Eddie."
So wrong. It's so wrong.
Ronnie is absolutely the best, and I'll hear nothing else. Oh my God.
Oh, let's get that shared out. But hey, we have somebody more interesting than us.
Yeah. Well, we have the man, the myth, the legend, ZVL Bowling. He's coming on to chat us through about all things bowling TV. It's already on my to-do list because I finally figured out how to sign into it. And the first thing I saw was me throwing a shot. So best channel ever. They have a bunch of repeats of the Weber Cup. So I was ripping Kyle Troop a new one. So yeah. So without further ado, hello, Zach.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Not too bad. For those of you who don't know Zach, you've probably seen him on your Facebook feed, peddling stolen merch.
Absolutely, that's all I do.
Zach is a great resource. Yes, he is. I think one of your most popular videos that seems to come up is your discount. What do you call it?
Oh, copper drop.
Yeah, copper drop. Yeah. So,
yeah,
That
Yeah,
seems to be a good series.
Yeah, that one's going really well. Have it partnered with a company right now where I
So
just
you can
kind of
say who
give
it is, it's fine.
yeah, I partnered with bowling.com where just kind of give ideas of like, hey, this ball's on discount. It's still being made. It's on discount. So you can get it for $50 off. Big one was the Next Factor. Like I wasn't really promoting that ball much because it was $200. Now it was $130. So it's like, yeah, this is a great ball, especially for $130.
Yeah, it was 5:37 at the turn on Monday night with the Next Factor.
There you go.
It made a late run for me too. As a ball we liked in the summer, and then we're just kind of scared of it because it's so sharp in the back end. But at the end of the year, we bowled in a couple places where the lanes got harder for one, and they started to hook earlier. I used it a lot more at the back end of the year than I did at the beginning.
Bless Chris, he's all over the place. He said summer.
Yeah,
He hasn't been out. Yeah,
it's been out since December.
Yeah,
close enough.
It hasn't got to a summer yet.
I said last summer. I was at the beginning of the year. Well, don't listen to things I say. Just know what I mean.
It's like one guy got really upset because you misspoke and said he hit light when he went through the nose, and the guy's like, "Get him off!" Worst commentator ever.
Don't say that wrong, especially on Facebook. You will get torched.
Oh no, this was just on the show the other day.
Oh, even better.
Like after he'd done 5.5 hours straight, you slightly misspoke, and the guy probably misunderstood what he was saying anyway. So
I was trying to remember. I saw that thing finally. I finally went through and like, okay, let's see how much I get beat up on this deal. And I did catch that one. I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about. But to be fair, it was 11 or 12 hours, and I'd say stuff on here in 45 minutes that they go, oh yeah, what?
Yeah. All you did was I just prepared you for success. You didn't realize you could talk this much, even though you're good at it. And I just prepared you for success. Here is one of our OGs, Jeremy. He said about that ball chart. Lol.
Ooh. All right. Let's clear some allegations. So I can see Chris's lawyers behind him right now, just ready to throw a lawsuit my way. So I've been working at a pro shop for like 6 years. And one of the common things at a pro shop is like, hey, I need a ball that's gonna fit with the rest of my stuff. And you guys back in like 2021, maybe was the first time I heard Chris talk about like big slow, medium quick, that stuff. So I was using that a lot in the pro shop, and it was amazing. It makes it so much easier because how else are you going to categorize? I think there's 115 bowling balls on the market right now from the main 10 brands. Like it's impossible, especially someone just stepping into the sport. It's way too much, and they're going to get freaked out and then not care about it. So yeah, going into the channel, I use those terms at one point, and I've always tried to tag Chris as much as possible or say his name. I was just a little guy, so Chris wasn't gonna look at me.
Now you've got popular. Now it's a problem.
Yeah, now I get sued. Yeah.
Well, anyone who's been on this channel knows that I'm way too cheap to have a lawyer, so you're safe in that sense.
Good, because me too. I don't have a full-time job anymore, so yeah, I can't afford a lawyer. But luckily it made it a little easier, especially with the other brands, because I know you would always talk about the Storm brands, but there's now 7 other brands out there. So it's been really helpful for guys just to try to understand like, hey, new ball is coming out. What do all these numbers and terms mean? Because I can talk about RG and diff until my face turns blue, but it doesn't mean it's going to hit the entire bowling world.
Yeah, 80 to 90% only want those categories.
Yeah,
I mean, I do. When I did Baker Barnes camps and those kind of things and the clinics, and that's a whole hour and 15-minute presentation of all the things that make up those 6 categories. But most people, if you just put them in like what you're doing, you tell them where they fit. Oh, okay, and then they get balls that are actually different versus we talk about the arsenals for nationals all the time. I'll take this one, this one, this one, this one. Well, it's your 4 balls. You have your biggest scores are, and then you go to nationals and they're hard. And you're screwed. Maybe not this year.
I'm feeling like I'm being targeted here. I have a slightly different view on it a little bit than Chris does. I do like the categories. But I have one major category that if it doesn't fit in, it's not coming, which is only bangers. We're only taking ones that I can throw 9-baggers with. So if I've never thrown a 9-bagger with you, you're not going to nationals. I don't care how good it theoretically feels like, because it's pointless.
Yeah, I made that mistake this year.
Yeah, we have strong angular, medium strong angular.
It was much easier
angular and spare
when Brunswick made all of the super slow balls, Storm made all the super quick balls, and Motive made the shit balls. It was much easier when it was like that. And now Motive started making balls that are really good, and Brunswick started like dipping their toe into making quick balls, and now it's just not as good anymore. Because it was like, it used to be so easy. You'd just be like, hey, I want something that's smooth. And you'd be like, oh, we'll try that Brunswick one. And it didn't really matter which one it was, because they had a bunch of them who were like that. So as long as we don't use this term, I'm good. Benchmark.
I'll die on the hill that benchmark is a good term. It just is used in so many terrible situations in bowling. Like, that is the ball reviewer word dream come true, is this is the best benchmark on the market. Well, what does that mean? An Equinox Solid can be a benchmark for somebody.
And this is the point I try to make. The benchmark is basically the eye of the storm is kind of the way I look at it. Yeah. So like for a long time, like my benchmark ball was actually an absolute, because that was the one I used the most. So it was just like what everything did off that was all I really cared, because I could use that almost all the time. But like, when a benchmark has to be a V2 or a game breaker, as they're calling it now, or it has to be a phase 2, or it has to be a Venom Shark or whatever, it kind of gets a little silly. Because let's be honest, not everybody bowls the same. What did you think about the shows being on for so long?
Yeah, so I'm in Minnesota, so I was able to go to one of the shows, had a couple guys that I knew going to the shows throughout the week. It was great for bowling nerds. I think it's going to be awesome for guys to watch over the next couple of weeks, because there's just bowling. There's so many guys in the bowling world that just want to watch bowling and hear bowling and have 100% of the media they consume just be bowling. So they're going to love it. Now, I was at the Chameleon show and Darren won. Being at that show, I was getting a little bit sick of bowling by the end of it. Me and the guy next to me were not upset that Darren won, and to make sure it didn't go to a 9th and 10th frame roll off, because it was getting pretty long.
Yeah.
It was it was good. That's one of my biggest things in bowling, is I don't think we market our pros well enough. There's so many amazing pros with awesome personalities that nobody knows about because they don't make TV. So this was a good time to get some of those guys like Ronnie, get him on TV. That's awesome. I love that. He hasn't been on for probably a couple years. Maybe he was on last year.
I think it was his last title was the team event, and that hasn't been since 2000.
And I was a little bit annoyed by that.
And yeah, there's plenty of argument whether that team event should have been.
Well, no, it was. I know it definitely should have counted. It just should have been that if you had like 10 beers in between finishing and starting the step ladder, you probably shouldn't have been allowed.
Yeah, well, if West could count how many re-racks you wouldn't have to worry about being in that title match.
So you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so overall, I thought it was good in a lot of ways, but it was probably a little bit long. I love seeing the PBA 50 guys on there. I know there was a comment I just saw somebody made on the telecast of like, we need to have this on more, or this deserves to be on TV more, which is fair. Awesome that CBS gave bowling that long of a spot, but yeah, it doesn't have to be an every week thing.
Yeah, I'm like torn both ways. I think part of the reason why it struggles a little bit is because they sell tickets for a seat and there isn't really anything else to do.
I have a story on that.
If it was more of a come and go scenario, so that the bowling was on and like you had a crowd stood there, a bit like a Bayside, I think it makes it a little easier for people to, hey, these two are blowouts. We're gonna go to the bar and we're gonna come back. Cause like that's fun when it does that. There's too many of the games that are just like didn't necessarily go down to the end. And you're kind of like, well, what am I going to do in between? The next match is about to start. It's just a little harder when it isn't an open area, and when the bowlers are bowling all of the time, it's not like somebody can get up and walk out.
Yeah.
There isn't as many natural breaks, so to speak.
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising because I didn't even get seats. I just got standing room. I bought tickets like a couple hours prior, and then I was given Dio Bernard and Riley Woodard's guest spots. So I was front row as close as I could get by not getting seats. So I feel like some people probably should be upset if they got really bad seats for $20 and I was able to just kind of walk in and get good seats.
But yeah,
I kind of an industry insider though too, so I don't know.
Oh, they had no idea who I was. The girl who gave them out, not a clue.
That's a different conversation, but
yeah, no, it was cool. I'm with you completely. It got. I feel like
totally bitter.
If there were other things going on behind the scenes, would have been awesome. Because it was minus the high school kids behind me who were screaming on every shot. Like everyone was kind of like, yeah, we've been sitting here for 4 hours and we kind of want food.
Yeah. What's your take? Do you prefer like the main type experience? And I'm not saying forced cheering, but they just do it. And they have their own chance and it ebbs and flows. And sometimes some guys have a lot, some guys they don't have that much. Or do you like the traditional silent till the ball's thrown?
I love the main idea just to match what is more normal for a crowd to do, because it gets eerie in there when like you're not even in the seating area and the place is just dead silent. It's the quietest I've ever heard a bowling alley, just ever. It's weird. I get it, of course. As someone who bowls, you hear that little sound like on your downswing and it can mess you up. But I like the constant sound a lot better with music and things like that, just to liven up the crowd a little bit more. Because it's hard to be a lively crowd if you have to be completely dead silent every minute or two.
Stu and I were speaking about this the other day, and he had some good ideas about some different. One of the things about Maine is they don't sit down. So it is up and you can move space around and fill in space and some of the things. And it's hard to fill chairs. If there's no bodies for the chairs, there's just a space. There's just a gap. And certainly at the end of that 4th day of shows, and fair play, when we came in for the prep 3 hours before the show, they were waiting outside. And it wasn't 5 or 6. It was 50, 60, 70 people waiting to get in 3 hours before, and then 8.5 hours later, the end of the show. And the very last night, they were just dead. You could tell they just completely had run out of energy, and they were excited to see a winner. But for a lot of them, Ronnie's not somebody they knew really well, and Alex is brand new. And without an EJ or a Belmo or Simo or some of these guys that have been, bigger stories throughout the year, and Alex made himself a big story for sure. And it was a great story. I mean, Ronnie had a chance to do something I think everybody dreams of, hey, I threw a strike to win my last tournament. Shoes on the ball, return hood, and peace out. I mean,
that's do that next week.
And then he would kind of show up next week. But yeah, he birdied the 18th hole. He's coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody just asked, where is it? Funny you should ask this.
What a segue.
Have you heard about a bowling show on Prime TV? Well, let me just start this by, I hadn't even heard that Prime TV exists. And I have basically every streaming platform under the sun. It's one of the worst menus in the history of the world. Like, I did actually learn that they have the cricket channel that I occasionally pay for. So that's cool. I don't have to pay for that anymore. So thanks, Bowling TV. That really helped me out. But there is, if you go in Prime Video, there is a live TV section. And if you use the search functionality, it doesn't work. You don't find it. You literally have to select sports and then just scroll. And there is like a zillion TV stations. And this is where you find Bowling TV. Now, Zach is a part of it. So you've got the floor. Let us know what's going on.
Absolutely. So I'll start from the beginning of the story. So like 8 or 9 months ago, I was reached out to by somebody who is an ex-ESPN executive and working for Triple B Media. And they hit me up like, hey, we want to start a bowling channel that only shows bowling all the time. Do you want to be a part of it? Because they needed, what happens is their goal was to grab all of the TV shows from the 80s all the way to today and show them. Well, they don't always go the full like 2 hours. They want to be like a regular TV station where, you know, on the hour a new show starts. So they needed somebody to fill in the gap time. So they used my videos for that, which was really cool. But digging into it a little bit more, this is a group that's done this with other sports. So I just pulled them up. They have lacrosse, billiards, cornhole, boxing, and Bark TV, where dog lovers can watch entertainment and support services for dogs. Interesting. But what it is it is on pretty much every smart TV platform there is. It is called Bowling TV, and it just shows bowling 24/7. They partnered with USB-C on it, so they were able to grab basically every stepladder final from the last 40 to 50 years. They grabbed a bunch of extra stuff. Like you said, the Weber Cup's on there. I heard there's some junior gold coverage on there. They just grabbed a little bit of everything, and it's now on this Bowling TV app or channel. It's sometimes a little bit harder to find. Like for me, through Prime Video, I have a Fire TV, I had to go to my apps and look up the word bowling, and then it was one of the live channels that popped up. So when I turned it on, it was 1996 with Carolyn Doran Ballard bowling against Lisa Wagner. So there's a little bit of everything. You can watch old stuff, new stuff, whatever it may be.
It got my seal of approval because when I tuned in, I was on. Can't get better than that, can it?
Yep. Now he has it on 24/7.
The Eli Jones says, I just don't understand how you can have qualifying for a major in a completely different state and center than the TV show is going to be in and multiple weeks apart. This isn't a new thing.
No, unfortunately not. And this is why it happens. I understand what you're saying, and really it's not ideal in any way. But big CBS gave them a slot, and it's in June. And it's not convenient to have a tour stop around there, the World Series around there, anything else. And so for the opportunity to be on big CBS, they just moved the finals to, I mean, moving it states doesn't matter nearly as much. I mean, once you move to a different center, you're in a different environment anyway. I don't actually know why they chose Thunderbolt versus Minnesota again or not, other than it's just easy to get to, and it's a great setup, and they don't take away from the bowling center. They can set up ahead of time. They can do it all, and it's it's a
pretty nice setup.
Yeah, it's cordoned off from everything. You have multiple levels to watch, to film, to do a lot of different things. There's a lot of good things about being there, for sure. So, but yes, it's not ideal. I mean, we do it. We've done it forever. My first title was in the Erie Convention Center, I think, after bowling in, one of the highest scoring centers in the country. We moved to someplace completely different, and we've done arena finals. And
in fact, the first World Series, the final was in Wichita.
Didn't know that.
When Smallwood won. It wasn't in Detroit.
Really?
Minnesota doesn't really have a good place that you can have a telecast that big, especially where you can set up on your own. It's just like,
you need an L-shaped center like Wauwatosa or someplace where you can still have leagues, still have all the regular business. You're not taking away from their business, but you can have a encapsulated area that you can kind of take over for 2 or 3 days. And the old arena there is it's a great setup for that.
My man Nico, Stu is correct. Best words. I prefer right to correct, but it's okay. Stu is right.
I don't like any part of it.
Oh dear.
Erie native coming in with the correct. It's been a minute. But when you see it on a live stream, the baby doesn't laugh after, so it's not quite as good.
No, you just hear me laughing.
Gary Kaminsky coming off the top. That just happened.
ZVL is my favorite.
Hey, thanks.
That was the World Championship where he beat Wes. It was. Who is Zach? I don't know him.
Same.
So, do you want to give just a brief, like what you do? Like they used to say on the blind date show. What's your name and where'd you come from?
I hope I'm not getting set up for a blind date.
Might work out.
Yeah. So what I am a content creator for bowling, where I post educational stuff, news, bowling ball information on a ton of different social media sites. So most notably, I try to help build arsenals for bowlers. I try to give educational tips, give PBA news, give news on bowling balls being discontinued, new bowling balls coming out. And I try to do it with an unbiased take. I'm not signed with any bowling ball company, so I can talk about all of them and also give brutally honest opinions on some of them, good, bad, or otherwise. So that's been the main focus of my channel for the last couple of years.
Okay. So that was his elevator pitch.
Yeah.
It was called. Big Trav, nice to see you again, mate. He says, good morning. I'm wanting to work on my down and in game. My other layouts are 4x4x2. Any other ball suggestions for top hat using terrain oil? Chris's favorite. Typical house shot.
Mud in a jug. It's nice. Actually, it's Guardian in a bottle, but that's really what.
I mean, the 4x4x2 layout is a lot of hook up front. I mean, you're putting a lot of flair in the ball by having the smaller buffer and the two things at 4. I would tend to suggest that on terrain oil, you probably need something that's a little cleaner, and a little bit, so maybe increase the buffer range. So let's think about maybe a 3 or a 3.5 on that buffer. Probably push out the pin to closer to the 5 range, and maybe go with a pearl asymmetrical. I feel like they are in general on house shots, they're by far the most versatile. You can use a little bit more forward roll, and you kind of get a little bit back from that. So that would be the direction I would go. I mean, Equinox might be a good option for you. Hyperdrive Pearl might be a little bit angular for playing straight up the lane. But something along those lines. I actually really like the Gremlin for going straighter. I know that kind of puts me in the minority, but I find the Gremlin's really good.
It tests extremely well in the house shots, though.
It was surprising seeing how many people loved the Gremlin. Like, I had one, I wasn't a big fan of it playing deeper angles, and the guys who loved it
for that.
Yeah, everyone who I asked who loved it was always down and in, more speed dominant player. Like, yeah, this thing is great for playing up 10 for me. So it was super popular.
Yeah, being at one of the demos and watching it, it's not even close. It was far and away the most exceptional ball for a lot of people. And but yes, I agree. Once you get left to right with it more, it loses some of its specialness. And then when there's probably some other balls that kind of fit in there maybe a little better. But
hey, Big Mike. What are Beef and Barnzy's thoughts on the Bionic for rev dominant to thumb bowler?
I think he means no thumb.
Yeah, that would be a good guess. Yeah, although T and N are quite a long way away on a QWERTY keyboard. Is it too strong or the one right ball? It depends how much speed you have. I understand being rev dominant, but if you're rev dominant at 600 RPMs with like 18 miles an hour ball speed, it's a bit different than being rev dominant at like 420, with 12 miles an hour. I like the Bionic. I haven't really particularly seen a lot of people who dislike the Bionic. I feel like it's a fairly good all-around strong ball. I've seen quite a few of the two-handers on tour use it. Thoughts, Chris?
I would say there are some people that are too rev dominant for this ball, especially if you go on the hooking house shot. I think 16 out of your hand with 400. Yeah, you're pretty rough dominant. If your house shot doesn't have a lot of oil, it's probably going to be too strong a lot of the time. And actually, I saw on Zach's channel where he skipped over that with the rev dominant group, I believe. So,
yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah, it's just too. And I've seen a couple other guys say, "Yeah, the ball was just too strong for me on the house shot. I just could never throw it." And I could see that two-handers use it less than one-handers, even though. But it has been easily the ball of the year for people with their thumb in it. Even the higher rev rate ones. It's just the two-handers. They have other options that can make some smoother, cleaner balls hook enough.
Ryan uses it quite a lot.
He did at the back end. It took him a while to find one though, because it was too strong in the wrong spots for him for a little bit, and then he finally drilled one. It was like 5 3/4 or something like that, and then bombs away.
Yeah, Vi was the most crazy use case of it that I might have ever seen. And even Ryan, who's in that world of two-handed bowling, was just like, "What is going on?" When Vi used the rocket on the fresh, and then when it got to game 4, he moved further in and got out his bionic and started hoofing it halfway down the lane and proceeded to shoot 800. And Ryan's like, "There's no way that's a bionic." And I go, "Yeah, it is." And he goes, "How is he using a bionic?" And then it comes back and he was just like, "How does that make any sense?" And I was like, "You guys are two-handed. There is no sense. It doesn't matter which ball you use."
I found it fascinating even on the show, and they put up the arsenal, and the reps are putting it up, and they're like, "Oh, bionic and Ion Pro Solid is stronger than a bionic." And I went, "In no world does that."
Oh no, I've got a better one than that.
But on for two-handers on particular conditions, they can make smaller cores hook more than bigger ones.
Well, he had the hyperdrive pearl as a 10. Now, I want you to understand the players don't do that.
Right.
Yeah, who does?
The reps generally do that.
Yeah.
But hyperdrive pearl in his arsenal was 1A. And I was just like, there is just no world in which I'm not even sure that'd be my strongest ball if the strongest ball I had was a hustle. I'm not even sure that'd be stronger than either. Like I've got a hustle.
Must have filled that one out. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a strange. I mean, I get it. I mean, I have these chats with you about it, like when we're talking about Ryan and Bonta and stuff, and it's just like their ball's not really hooking, and I'm like, oh, he needs to throw this. Like he needs something more responsive, and it's not necessarily cleaner. It's just more responsive to like hooking that part of the lane.
Yeah,
and it's wild the way the higher rev rate guys can use the balls in the lane. I mean, like for example, when we were in the TOC, whenever Bonta had friction, he threw the bionic, and whenever he didn't have friction, he threw the IQ AI. Because the IQ AI is just so much more responsive, and he can make everything start. And the bionic just sort of would pick up, and then it would just get on top of the oil, and then it would just skid. Whereas the AI was getting, it would actually feel like it would touch the lane rather than just touch the oil. That's kind of the visual I try to give people when they're talking about the ball burning up. Like when the ball starts to burn up, it looks like it's only touching oil. And then when you've got perfect ball reaction, it looks like you've got a huge flat spot on the bottom of your ball because so much of it is touching the lane. Like it's got a huge footprint on the lane. And obviously, it's always the same amount of your ball that's touching the lane every time you throw it. But it doesn't look like that, It's, yeah. Somebody said they almost won a Barnes family jersey. Didn't realize someone outbid them.
Yeah, we give out some to benefit some charities and some different things. There's a few of them around. This guy's messaged me on the side and told me this exact same thing, and I told him why that was not the case, at least not yet. Maybe someone else can explain it in a way that makes sense.
Zach and
Zach.
Oh, Zach Wilkins.
Yeah, no, definitely not me. Don't worry about that. No, I had a lot of comments like this last night too. I had a couple guys coming in saying Alex should win Player of the Year. And short-term memory for bowling is very common.
Yeah.
And just counting the amount of titles people have. And it's tough this year because only 2 people have 2 titles.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, I'm a numbers guy. I'm a math and computer science major, so I just look at points, earnings, placings, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that just kind of disproves a lot of this.
This is the point I made to him. I said, EJ is the bowler of the year. I said, until he wins a title, he is not, because he is not qualified per PBA rule. He's not allowed to be on the ballot. And you can disagree with the rule, but it has been for a while, I guess. It just hasn't come up because obviously it's been for 6, 7, 8 years now, I guess.
I didn't know that. I thought it was recent. Interesting.
Yeah, we did too. But it turns out it's been there since pre-COVID.
It just never happens.
It just doesn't happen. I mean, it's so unusual. Exactly. He wins the world championship. It's a wrap.
Oh yeah.
What happens
Now,
if
if
Balmo
Wanda
wins?
somehow rolls through all that and wins that, then it might not matter if EJ wins, because 2 majors, even though EJ will lead all the rest of the stats, 2 majors over a Norm Duke / breast cancer doubles or Sweden might not trump that. I mean, we all know the players. It's hard to say. It would be a very split vote because EJ has been the most dominant player week in, week out for 3-4 years now. But 2 majors is 2 majors, and that would be tricky.
I mean, Simo didn't win with 2 majors, so
he had 4 titles that year too. But EJ had 5, so.
Yeah, I'm throwing stuff out there. Like, I just think it's the player of the year vote. Whenever it's tight, always amazes me. So, like, I remember the one year that it was like, I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was the year when it was the 3 that were tight. I think it was one of the years where Belma won like 3 majors and somebody voted for Bill O'Neill for player of the year. And Bill goes, my mom wouldn't even vote for me for player of the year. He's just like, he goes, I almost feel like I need to send that guy a signed picture, whoever voted for me. He goes, it wasn't me. I was like, bullshit, Bill. But I think it was actually like more than one person voted for him. And I remember Bill going, who are these people? What are they looking at? Like, he's like, Belma won almost every meaningful tournament. Like, what are we talking about? And,
Yeah. And then didn't Ryan not win unanimous rookie of the year last year? Right? People voted against him.
Somebody voted for Cam, I think.
Yeah. Even though there was like a 40-point difference in points and TV shows and all that. I'll put you guys on the spot. Like, do you guys like that you guys do the voting, or would you like more of a structured format?
I think that every time I watch the women's come down to the last thing, and it's so obvious that the person who might win shouldn't win, that I think it becomes way better that we vote for it.
Yeah, it's ironic because our point list probably sets up pretty well for determining a player of the year, and their point list does pretty well at setting up a exempt tour type situation. And they're used for the opposite.
Because their point structure is so much flatter.
Yeah. And so, perfect attendance on their tour. If you miss some tournaments on their tour, you actually literally can't win player of the year. It's nearly impossible just because you're not in events.
Because I think there was one year that Stephanie Zavala could have won 3 times and not win. They only have like 9 tournaments. So, like, yeah. And like last year, Jordan Richard bowled awesome. But like, Wei Fen, like, had so many more, like, like signature moments. And that's why she ended up winning. But it was like, yeah, I think it's difficult because I think it goes back and forth. There was the one year that Brad Angelo was the leading candidate for player of the year. And I don't think he bowled in the title match at one point, but he'd been like by far and away the most consistent. Like, he'd finished between 8th and 3rd almost every tournament. So I think there's pros and cons to all of it. I think that sometimes what should be done is I think that quite often it should be cut down before it goes out to the membership. Now, whether that be the national players, we have a preliminary vote, and we get down to 3 people, and then that gets sent out to the membership. I think that would make more sense. I think sometimes when you've got everybody who's a member and who don't really pay any attention whatsoever, like they get a vote, and that's, whatever. I think sometimes when they have too many people to vote for, you just get so many votes that are just a waste of time.
Yeah, I don't know. We only did a pointless 2 years, I think it was, and it was based off shows.
I mean, it was pretty exciting.
And it came down both years. It came down to the last week, I believe.
But I didn't particularly like that.
But I don't feel like that people that don't that's an eye of the beholder thing. Obviously, Simo's year was incredible to me. I value finishing high a lot, but that's a personal value set, not necessarily. I think EJ won one more time than he did. He won 5 times versus 4. He led some of the money, some of the other things, and he beat Simo a few times, if I remember correctly, and that's ultimately. But yeah, I think it's tough. I think the touring players probably should be voting on that way more than the general membership, in my opinion, because they see the guys every day. They know what's going on versus what's on a piece of paper.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I'd also love to be able to figure out which season it was. That's because Simon had the one season where he won all of the tournaments.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he won a bunch of the tournaments that weren't necessarily the ones that changed lives, so to speak. So he won the tour finals. He won the striking against breast cancer. Like, they were the things that, he ended up winning. Whereas, EJ won one of the shows at the World Championships. He won the World Championships. That's what moves the needle. Like, historically, the Masters winner almost, if you win the Masters and you don't win any of the other majors, you almost never win Player of the Year. Like, whoever wins the Masters, it's almost irrelevant to Player of the Year. Like, just historically. So, like, when
it doesn't end up catching the same weight.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Like the World Championships and the TOC. Now, a lot of the time they're later in the year, but I also think that like the US Open tends to have a pretty big, like the Players. I don't necessarily think is another one that's necessarily a, just from a historical point of view, and because Chris spends the whole time going, wasn't even a major most of the times I bowled. But
we had to come up with ways for Belmo to, break Walter's record. So now we have 5 majors.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not fair.
I was about to say it wasn't
Walter.
It wasn't
Walter's
Walter's
we can have 5
record
majors and not 4. And
let's say so, it wasn't Walter's record he was breaking, but
Pete's
okay.
But same. So
he pretty much beat it. Whichever of the 4 majors you count. He's got more than everybody.
Well, not if you count legal bowling balls, but
oh boy.
Yeah,
is
let's
it
go down
unprecedented?
that road.
No, it's not. Marshall Holman did outvote Pete Weber one year in 1987, and Pete should have won that year. And can you imagine how much of an asshole people thought Pete Weber was that they thought Marshall Holman was the better answer there? Marshall didn't win that year. Pete won once. Pete led most of the statistical categories as I remember it. I don't think you can find any of that stuff anymore, but yeah. I mean, I wasn't there. I was in high school at the time, but it was 13, but yeah. No.
TOC was 13 games at one point?
We did a best of 5 thing. Yeah. No, I led it 3 times with 50 games or whatever. Lost all of those, of course, because it's a thing. And no, and the one I won is the Mohegan Sun
on house.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was like 50-foot pattern that those guys made look like the easiest thing on the history of the world. And if they bowled a regular tournament, the scores would have been an absolute train wreck because they wouldn't have broken
Woodland wouldn't have pulled out. It was
Jason
like
Hurd bowled like 880 or whatever it was for 3 games. Like they were like insanely high. But it was because they knew what they were doing. Because it was 50 feet, right?
One of those years, yeah. One of them was the one where Randy got mad at the crowd. And I lost to Healy in that one.
Real classy, pal.
Yeah, he like we didn't even know what he was talking about. I mean, I know there was something happened, but it wasn't like crazy loud. But you definitely got him. he was wound. Yeah, and then the next year I beat Jaros and then Leto. It was a different final for sure. But yeah, super long patterns in that arena thing. You only bowled 5 games, so it wasn't a lot of oil on it. It changed super fast.
What are you even talking about, mine? Like we're gonna have Zach on Tuesday, right? But you want to compare EJ's season to Zach winning a doubles tournament and a 10-game qualifier and a 12-man step ladder? Get the fuck out of here. Like, I love Zach. Zach's a great bowler. But, like, if you're comparing that, like, oh, he won twice, like, and they're the two you're picking, EJ led the players by, like, 300, lost to a guy who bowled 300. He averaged 30 pins a game, almost more than everybody at the Masters, and lost on a ring 10. He's now led the World Championships.
Yeah.
Like, so 3 of the 4 tournaments, 2 of the 3 tournaments where we actually count pins, he led by multiple hundreds.
He was 6th of the TOC.
Yeah, like stop.
He's so far ahead in points that he basically leads the team competition by himself.
Yeah.
Again,
for the second year in a row. So,
and I mean, and at the same time, like Alex has had a really, really, really amazing 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But Alex was scared to enter the first tournament of the year because he didn't want to pay the gas to get there. Like,
is that real?
That's what he said. Like, literally, that was his interview. He goes, it was too far to go to have to pay a PTQ. And I understand his point of view. I totally get it.
He had to bowl. He's been bowling through them all year, and that's the unfair disadvantage for him is he's had to bowl in his way into tournaments, so he hasn't got to bowl all of them.
So like, that's not to take away from either of those 2 guys, but to make it seem like the PBA are gifting EJ, they ain't gifting him shit. Like,
he's kind of getting screwed over a little bit more than actually getting a gift. Like, he's moving venues, and every time he's leading a tournament.
And this is the other thing that somebody brought up is that everyone where he's led the tournament by miles, he's had to go to a different place to bowl the final. And again, he will again for the World Championship. And this is a legit thing too. Vogue's 3rd. He has a 2nd and he's won a major. He wins another title. He's in a different
100%.
category. Yeah. It is wide open, but if EJ wins, it's pretty much over. He just got to get qualified, even if it is a half a title. If it's
I would disagree with this comment. Winning is winning regardless of the sport or event. Like, there's a lot of incredible players who win MVPs that don't actually win the World Championship in whatever sport it is.
Well, I was about to say, fortunately for us, I get a vote and he doesn't.
Here's the guys walk the life. Okay, so whose year do you want, EJ's or Zach's? Because you go look at the stats, it gets easier to pick, especially the one with the $sign next to it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to make his 8th or 9th show out of like 14 at the World Championship.
And also just on the other part of like them gifting, and like, I'm not necessarily like an EJ fanboy, so like, please take this into consideration. Like, I'm way more on the Belmo train than I am on the EJ train. Like, that's not to say EJ's a bad dude. He's not, but he led the players, and then they moved it to the ITRC.
Hmm?
absolutely annihilated every single person he bowled in a 3-game match. And then they moved into the arena. Now he led the World Championships, and they've moved it to the place where he just lost the Masters TV show. Like, so if you want to talk about gifting, like, I would argue that everything they've done this year was the equalizer to stop him from winning.
Yeah.
Like, not helping him. But anyway, I understand that EJ's had a lot of success in that bowling center. But
so Garvin says EJ is my dad, but go ahead, Stu.
Ronnie
is EJ's dad.
He always has been, always will be. Daddy's back, Eddie. Oh god.
Bowl you for 50K, but you have to give me 100 pins. Deal. We're gonna bowl 100 games though. How's that?
I love the fact that EJ looked like he was about to wet himself. He was laughing so much. That was almost the best timing ever for that to happen between those two. Like, of all the people who were on the show, for Ronnie to do it against EJ was just the best, because EJ was just like, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
I also thought it was pretty funny that Wadka, who's good friends with Ronnie, Dave Wadka, he dug Ronnie out a little bit for that 2 count. And I was like, well, that's 2 more than you shot the first shot on your last show.
Yeah. Yeah, he threw that, and I was explaining you could throw in the pocket, which I didn't get out. There's a lower percentage to do that, throw at Brooklyn. And as he's throwing it down, like, oh my God, he missed the head pin left. This is going to be 2 off the right and about 4 off the left. I'm like, oh my God.
2-5.
Yeah, like, whoa.
In the end, he sped it like a champ.
Oh, yeah. He got
I think it was because he still kept watching all of those AJ Chapman replay videos from the US Open.
When not doing that
again. I go 2-0.
Yeah, that's
still one of the greatest things ever.
And also to miss a check by like 3 pins. That was the backstory on that. So,
was there any extra research on your end to learn about the non-SPI balls when you were in the booth, or did you just keep up with the manufacturers best you could?
I mean, you watch a lot of balls go down the lane, but I have a good relationship, friends with Dino and Wolf, and I just asked them to feed me information. If they fed it to me, that I would use it. I feel like that's I always wanted that as I was watching home. I wanted to know what the balls were, before I was on tour, and then even now, I don't know all of the motive. And Brett did the same thing with the motive balls. Obviously the purple one's easy to see because EJ's been winning with it for 12 years, but I don't know all of their balls. I know, hey, the black one that rolls pretty good. That purple one rolls pretty good. But I don't always know the names until. And so I wanted them to tell me exactly what they were, so I didn't say it wrong, not just whatever name I called it. I do that with our own balls enough. So
I still get Ion Pro Max comments, by the way. Thank you for that.
It's the best. It's literally the best.
But then I did ask for extra details, especially on some of the more unique balls that guys threw, and then I said, I'll do my best to educate on the backside. It makes sense once I know what the balls are, why they're using them.
Yeah. I mean, I always tried to do that when I was in the extra frame, when we were doing extra frame before it was Bowl TV. Right. Because I always used to think, I watched this, what did I want to know? And like, the cameras are fairly shitty, even though now the cameras are way better. Lighting in bowling centers, I mean, doing ball reviews is a fucking nightmare. Because the seating area is always bright and down lane is always dark, which is like the worst possible combination ever for any camera, being in the light, shooting into the dark. So it's like impossible. Like, I'm watching the practice session of the women yesterday a little bit just to see what was going on. And like, I'm like, if they weren't throwing the Ion Pro Solid, which by the way looks amazingly like the concept.
It does.
Same colorway. It's got to
be. It was impossible to know which ball they were throwing. Like, you think you can tell like on one of those cameras if they're using a Gremlin tour or an IQ tour. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I saw Verity using that gray platinum mix. Well, I knew which one that was. Like, that's pretty obvious. But like, you know, I find myself so many times, the ladies is especially difficult because they don't have the 3-year rule. And some of the ladies hoard some, like, wow. Like, you know, you'll see a some random badger ball.
Yeah. But we don't
And-
have a 3-year rule either, but
Huh?
we just had that August 22. The 7.
Well, that's kind of what I meant. Though.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
that rule.
No, people go
4-year
forward.
rule.
Well, they have a 3-year rule, and then next year
No.
they'll think it's
That's honestly what I thought it was.
yeah.
Like, I've had a lot of comments this week about, hey, how are people throwing the Alpha Crux on TV all the time? Why is there a new resurgence of that ball? Like,
Right.
well, there's a PBA rule, by the way. You can't throw anything outside of before August 22, but
So your whole journey on this thing, hey, great chat, guys. Anyway, checked on Belmo. I think
he'll be doing okay.
Yeah, and I spoke about this. He took those 2-week break, and he looks as good as I've seen him in quite a while. His mind looked fresh. He was just in a spot where he needed a break, and then he makes a couple of shows, and he's, he was good. He didn't have great ball reaction on the TV show. He cycled through some balls. I thought he actually got to the right one and threw a bad shot with it, and then got back out of it.
the
With
monsoon,
a ball that
were you thinking?
funny.
Thank you, Matt.
Oh, there, that's a comment of the day. Good work.
There you go.
No, it's just a live TV channel. You can't rewind or fast forward, or even pause.
Correct.
Zach, I did want to talk about, since we do have you on here, some of your journey through, and then where your channel has gone to and where you see it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I started as just I saw TikTok. There were a few people who tried making bowling things, and it was usually just them throwing a strike and just, hey, cool shot, and that's about it. And online, I've always loved watching ball reviews, like getting into the sport. I only got into the sport in like 2015, 16. I was a basketball and baseball guy growing up, but I'm uber competitive, so I needed something. And learning about it, it was really hard to understand bowling balls. I was watching a lot of ball reviews, and all of them seemed like very overly positive. Every ball is the best. You need to buy 3 of every ball. And I was kind of wondering, like, all right, I think a lot of people are watching these and getting confused on what a ball does. And I saw that in the pro shop as well, of like, hey, ball reviewer XYZ said this ball looked good, or the pro on TV was throwing this one in the TV show. I need to throw it. So I wanted to try to help maybe check if there's spots where we can get better educated as bowlers. And I started on TikTok. It's easy. You only need a phone for it, and it blew up pretty quickly. So yeah, expanded everywhere. And now I'm just trying to be the everyday bowler's guy to help bridge that gap between, the top of the top level and Joe from your Friday night league who just started bowling and wants to learn more about it and get into tournaments. So my goal is trying to bridge that gap a little bit, because I know a lot of times that there's bowling info coming out. There's so much crazy mumbo jumbo that a lot of guys don't understand. Well, the RG is this, diff is this, ball does this down lane on this pattern. And a lot of guys are going to say, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. So my goal is trying to translate a lot of that. And that's kind of what I'm seeing myself doing going forward a lot, is the main goal. And then trying to just stay blunt about a lot of bowling balls. Like, for example, for Storm stuff, I wasn't a fan of the second identity coming out. So I was very vocal about that. Other bowling balls coming out, like good, bad, whatever it may be, been vocal about that, trying to give people like that true, like, well, this is what the general bowler is seeing. Because I'm a tournament guy, so I bowl tournaments all year long. I'm talking to a lot of bowlers, staffers, non-staffers. I get probably 100 DMs a week right now, 50 to 100 DMs, just asking about bowling balls and people telling me about the bowling balls, their sets, all that stuff. So trying to just kind of put that all together and try to help bowlers get more educated and try to have a better idea of what's all going on in the sport.
I think you've done a great job. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. No. I mean, come from nowhere. You don't have a background that leads into it, and you've created this content that you have people all over, and it's obviously organic and working because you are everywhere. And I hear good things from lots of people. And, it's not just us that watch it and go, hey, I agree with that. Hey,
I wanted to take this one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Take it
So it says, hey, have you seen the Perception versus Reality podcast with Phil Caldonal and Nick? I haven't. And it says, going off about Chris and Kyle not being knowledgeable about B7 brands, well, they're B6, and counting the titles that B6 have won. Well, here's the deal. If they can show me, and like, I'm not saying they did or they didn't, but where Chris imparted loads of knowledge, or Kyle, on the Storm Ball, but didn't impart that knowledge on the Brunswick Ball, then cool. But like, it isn't an advert. And like, Storm pay Chris and Kyle. And I understand there isn't a thing that says, hey, we don't have to talk about, like, use our knowledge. That's on Brunswick to educate them. Like, they're in the commentary booth. If you want these things, go up and like talk to them about it. Like,
yeah, I asked both the guys. Just tell me everything. I'll have my phone. Tell me whatever you have to tell me. What's going on? I'll work it in if I can.
Yeah,
a couple of those shows we did, they were all Brunswick. So we talked about all Brunswick balls. That's, obviously the final of the last
Brunswick have obviously had an excellent year, but this like chip that they've got on their shoulder, like,
I couldn't tell you how many Storm balls won or how many Brunswick balls won. That's not a stat I had in front of me, and unless they gave it to me, there's no way I would know.
But why would the commentators on a sport, like, they don't on the ATP tour, they don't go, 17 head rackets won this season. They go, Yannick Sinner's won a shitload of tournaments, and the ones he hasn't won, Carlos Alcaraz has won.
What Titleist does at the end of the year and goes, the Pro V1 was used by 82% of all players on the tour.
Yeah.
And it won 80. That's their job to do. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's and Brunswick are doing excellent. Like, they've won a bunch of tournaments, like a bunch. Like, I think they're up to like 9 wins or something. They're having their best year forever.
The irony of a Perception versus Reality podcast that also tried to repeatedly explain why the Purple Hammer should be legal is that's moving on.
Yeah. But regardless, I mean, apparently Jim says we should ask you about Perception versus Reality. You had a run-in with them?
I've had a few run-ins. I've had Phil in my YouTube comments a couple times on a couple radical balls where they just didn't put marketing information on them at one point. Their cover stock info, I was told, well, that doesn't actually matter for the bowling ball. Like, there's a ball coming out, it had the same cover stock name as another one. And I said, in my video, I said, well, they're the same name, they're advertising it as such, so I assume that they're going to be the same cover, because that's how every other brand in the world for bowling does it. But that was not the case. There's a different tweak, and they've never used the same cover, so I got roasted for that. And then there was one that they went off for about 20 minutes attacking me. I was called the Zero Validity Lab. Was their way to not say my name, but still say my name. Luckily, I did find out that's only opinion that those two people had, and not all of Brunswick. All of Brunswick has been incredible to me in a lot of ways, but yeah, they were. Storm B had it well. They were trying to bully a bit, and I still have people in my comments attacking me. Some of their fans saying you're dumb and you don't know what you're talking about. So they've
spread enough misinformation. I mean, it's just how the way the world works these days.
Yep. Yeah, it is what it is in the content creator world. I'm learning that bowling likes to create a lot of drama. And we like to kind of attack ourselves from the inside out. And that was one of the cases of that.
Apparently, this is why. Apparently, the Outer Limits black hole is an asymmetrical ball. It's not a symmetrical ball.
Well, then they just didn't listen. I did not call it. I said that GB5 was when I talked about symmetrical and asymmetrical, I never mentioned that ball at all. I was talking about the balls that I think it was Ronnie that was throwing at the time, and somebody else had one of each.
Yeah. And
I just explained that the GB5 hybrid was symmetrical and the I think it was a No Mercy or something. Rules
No Mercy solid, yeah.
Solid was asymmetrical, and yeah,
100%. I mean, it wasn't like I was going to rush and listen to it. So,
yeah,
yeah,
it's fine.
Yep. You had made a really good point of like, it's Brunswick's job, it's Storm's job. Like when the Bionic was won how much that ball got on back order and was sold, had so many purchases, not because the commentators talked about it. I don't think Kyle ever said this is the greatest ball of the year. Go buy one today. But Storm did an incredible job at marketing that bowling ball. It won a lot. Everyone knew it won a lot, even if you didn't watch the shows. And that's where marketing is everything. And those guys could market, hey, these are all the bowling balls that won. But it just hasn't been as in your face, I think, as Storm had it. So you're not seeing the Outer Limits Black Hole or GB5 hybrids, going to be on back order because so many are being sold.
Yeah, they do have a lot of good balls because there's a lot of different balls bowling well. It's not just one ball. And by and large, the Bionic was in concept with the two balls you saw way more of than anything else with the Storm arsenals this year. But Simo didn't win two majors because Belmo had 5 titles and 1 major. Also true. But Steve Miller had this right a long time ago. And he came in the early 2000s. He goes, the product registration isn't the end game. That's your entry fee. That's your ticket. Now that allows you the opportunity to go on TV and use all these avenues to then advertise, your products and take advantage of that. And so.
I don't know. Bowling, no one ever talks about the bowling balls on the telecast for 20 years. So
a long time they didn't let them.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they just didn't want them to do it. And I've always kind of disagreed with that in general. And so I at least tried to name the balls in the brief times I was in there. And then obviously with 2 matches going on at the same time, there's no time to talk about much of anything. It's just fire. Here's the situation. Here's the score. This is kind of what's going on. Maybe he needs to move. But you can't talk about that until you get down to a match and you have 20 seconds in between shots to actually talk about some of the minutia of what's going on and what they might be, what options are in front of them. And it's a different way to go about it. Some people like that. Some people don't. If I get a chance to do it more, that's probably how I'll go about it. And at some point, people will get tired of it and they'll move on.
That was another thing that I found very hilarious was Machuga broke the internet by having a Brunswick and a Storm patch on.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever done this before. What, since the last time Chuga was on TV?
I mean, that's a choice. You either wear both because he was throwing up both of them, or you wear none of them. Yeah. And then and things are neither choice was bad.
Honest question: how can we release an Alpha Crux when Mo called out Storm for using his idea? I actually only found out about this about 6 or 8 months ago that there was a big to do about this. So I guess on Friday you'll probably find out.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, I only found out about this too recently. I had to do some research on it to figure out what's going on.
This is the first I'm hearing of it. I never heard the first one though either. So
there's a bunch of those. Like we had that whole debate of which ball was the Transformer looking like an Evil Eye or something, and I was just like, man, I'm just not smart enough to see it.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, to me, sometimes the weight blocks and the arguments about you copied my idea or whatever, it's a bit like art. I'm just not smart enough to see it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of copycat in the business, whether it's colors, whether it's cores, whether it's, allegedly once upon a time, the original Phantom core ended up being the Omega. And then they just put a dial on it, made it make sense, at least more sense to the general public.
Yeah, it's a good thing in the industry is kind of the big thing is if you're not using each other's ideas to grow things, you don't actually grow. That's in science, that's in other sports, it's everywhere. It is what it is. I think that case was weird because there's an actual patent from like the early 2000s or something. But
Yeah, I mean, Mo was the originator of asymmetrical of that technology, and you could argue for a really long time that while it existed for the first 15 years of it, the best ball every year was still a symmetrical ball for a really long time. But they've refined the technology. They've made it more mainstream, less nichey, so to speak, where the windows of usability is higher. And as the volumes have gone up, those balls get helped and become way more and more useful.
Well, with this year feels like it is the comeback of the symmetrical ball. There has been quite a few good options in my mind, symmetrical ball wise. Obviously, Bionic's been pretty popular on the Storm side. Concept has also been fairly useful. I'm fascinated to ask you about that because obviously me and Chris are a little bit like the president who doesn't know how much a pint of milk is when it comes to some of this stuff. What's your take on the concept in the real world? Not necessarily just like the competitive bowling world, just out there in the real world.
yeah, so with the question marks being around urethane right now, like especially with junior gold coming up, there's a lot of junior gold kids like, well, I can throw 78 stuff for a while and then I have to not. The concept is, in my opinion right now, and based on just results and what other people who throw multiple brands are saying, is the best non-urethane like ball out there right now. It matches it so closely. Like I've had one pretty much since release, and I've used it as a urethane ball in those situations. My urethanes are collecting dust right now because a lot of places in Minnesota are starting to put in urethane limits in some way. So instead of throwing my IQ 78 or buying a black hammer, I've been throwing a concept, and it's the best option in that regard. I think a lot of people are trying to use it on house shots when they shouldn't be in certain situations, but the ball is so unique, it seems like, for some of the highly rev dominant guys versus the speed dominant guys. Like I could never throw mine on a house shot. It just, I more on the balance side. I throw it a little bit harder because I'm 6'5". So I don't have a use for a concept on house, but a lot of the higher rev dominant guys, it's what they want a urethane to be on a house shot, but it'll still carry because it has a little more down lane motion. So overall, it's been, I think, really good. The one negative is the price. It's $190, and like the other urethane like options are $40 cheaper. But performance wise, it's really been holding up a lot better than I think a lot of people expected it to, because urethane like options are generally very hit or miss.
I would agree in general.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's been the biggest difference maker of the balls that have been released for me. I had a definite weakness in that regard when we were bowling on patterns that were kind of where a lot of the guys would throw urethane, but guys with a little bit less rev rate couldn't really make it carry. It gives me an option that I can use that has some control. You know, I give up a little bit front to back with it on the control wise, but I can get those extra hits, you know, and I can be a little bit left of the guys using urethane. So I'm not in as much constant transition.
I feel like I'll know a lot more here in the next few weeks on the senior side, where the average rev rates are way more in the 250 to 350 range. And that's the group that they want all the control of urethane, but they struggle to carry like you do, you know, like the big guys do. Obviously, the two-handers especially. And so if they can get that control and also still get it to pop a little bit more, you know, I think that's what's going to happen. But I will be interested to see. Even on the senior tour, you're seeing way more urethane. And in my opinion, a lot of times, no business throwing it, but because the lanes get hard and they just that is the easiest way to hit the pocket.
I've seen that on the amateur side a lot as well. Is just the longer we go with urethane being the number one option and seeing it so much on the pro tour, it's just what people use. I was on about a month or so ago, I was on like a 44-foot 5-to-1 ratio pattern. You could hit the pocket fairly easily, and 60% of the field was throwing urethane.
And that's when it doesn't make any sense. When it's already easy to the pocket, then why would you limit your ball motion?
Yeah, and a lot of that is just education. People are like, I see it on TV. Hey, I throw it and I hit the pocket a lot. I'm going to keep throwing it. Yeah. Instead of this is why it's not great.
Yeah, this is it started way back when I was on tour in the 2000s, and we had Brunswick balls and we had particle balls, and and I use those kind of control balls all the time on the fresh. And this is just a different version of the same thing. You know, when the rev rates are high enough, urethane still hits like those old particle balls or slow reactives, and you should just throw slow, weak reactives, not 2-inch pins, but more like 5.5 low pin kind of things, and to control the flare. Resurgence was one of those best balls ever. It's an 040 diff ball, light bulb kind of thing with a slow cover. You can control the lane all the time. But that's what it's really about, is control. People are still misusing it because you could see Packy or Jesper or Bellman, guys with massive rev rate and touch doing things that the rest of us can't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a lot of, and especially with the 78 hardness ones, I don't know what your guys' take on it are, but there aren't many places that they're banned, and there's a lot more roaming around and a lot more that people buy than I would expect when the soft ones are still available, and just generally a better option in a lot of cases. I don't know. That's kind of surprised me going through a lot of people's arsenals. Is it'll be like a bunch of bowling balls, and then their urethane option, because they bowl on sport, is an IQ 78 or a Black Hammer 78 instead of a pitch black or a purple hammer.
Yeah, and I think it's because they're a little bit softer speed, and so then it hooks so early that it forces them left, and they can't strike with it. Like, well, if I use this, then I can stay straighter, which they can, but it also, like I said, for a lot of people, concept is probably just a better option from that standpoint, or just a bigger, slow, this new ball that you saw the remake of may fit in some categories for people too.
This is the best episode ever. Okay. Always love listening to both talking shop of the tour, and also listen to ZVL for the information for the scrub weekend warriors like myself.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I'm just going to comb through all the comments later and just re-click up all the positive commentary things, so I can feel good about myself.
I'll admit to you, I won't say it because I'm just on a podcast with you, but the positive remarks were super high in the last week with you in the booth. So be careful where you go on the internet. Like if you touch like some of the Facebook places, it'll just be a bunch of people roasting anything bowling related. Right. But from the people that actually watch it a lot and have had both pros and cons of the year, like people have been really big fans of having you in the booth.
I feel like there's two things in bowling that seem to be constant. Everybody hates Chad and everybody loves Chris in the booth.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you go on Facebook, it's about the same amount of people defending Chad, or about the same amount of people saying that you did something wrong. So there's the odd straggler.
And as usual, the truth is probably way closer to the middle.
100%. The hype. I was wearing your T-shirt the other day. Concept is by far the best non-urethane option. It hooks more than all the NUs because it actually absorbs faster than the B6 options. Yeah, I mean,
it is one of the balls I would suggest cleaning pretty regularly.
I also think that it's kind of funny because when they told us what it was, we were like, shit, there ain't no way this is going to be anything other than a piece of shit. Like, there's never been a decent one of these, Hank. Why are you wasting our fucking time? And he's like, can you at least throw it first? Oh, come on, Hank. My hand hurts. Are we really doing this? And then everybody threw it. We're like, oh, good God.
Oh wait.
Like, Ryan literally used it for about an hour, just like throwing strikes at every pattern imaginable. Him and Landon were the two that was just absolutely ridiculous.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. Like, okay, we might have dismissed this a little bit quickly. We thought we were getting another whatever Badger 7030 or NU or whatever else, and then it was way more of a more usable EPX kind of thing.
Yeah, it was just great.
Which is totally fair. There have been a lot of stinkers in that kind of range for a while, just in the urethane range in general as well. And yeah, that was I was hearing comments early on, like a month before release, like this one might actually be the real deal. And I thought, no shot. And yeah, it's turned out well.
Yeah, the new Belmo ball, the Rocket. I actually had thrown it for a week before I realized his picture was on it. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until I saw the marketing notes that it was actually a Belmo ball. It took a little bit. They didn't push it very hard.
Well, the inside joke was it looked like Simo more than Belmo, because of how Rocket kind of covered it up. And it's like, oh boy, guys are just trolling out there now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, week 10, 11, it just gets chippy everywhere out there. They're so fried. But obviously the Monsoon set the new scoring record with Frankie playing straight. I think that's going to be a house shot killer, actually, the Monsoon. I think the two-handers are going to like it the most, even though my offspring has not jumped on that bandwagon so far. But Belmo started to throw it a lot. It became kind of his go-to. Ryan's been using a Cove in that spot. I think the Monsoon's a little stronger version of that. And the Rocket, you're seeing players, Vi and Bonta probably have used it the most of the guys you've seen on TV. And Bonta's looked like it had quite a bit of surface on it the other night. And Vi was actually using it in a weird spot where he was using it before Bionic and then using Bionic after it.
So weird.
Which, yeah, I mean, it's just a much longer conversation of how you get to that space. And like Stu was talking about how Brandon got from throwing a Bionic with friction, and then when they got tighter, and it has to do with how much friction there was in the front of the lane at Riviera and those kind of things. And not an easy thing to describe in a short window, but yeah, I do think these balls are usable. They came out late in kind of a funny spot. I said Monsoon may end up being something for us thumbers. It may be like a smoother version of a Gremlin. Like it's going to be good when your angles are a little closer. And then the two-handers may use it as a medium piece that controls the back end of the lane for them, so they can have control while still using the angles and things they want to use.
And that Typhoon was beloved by people. I still can't believe how much people adore that Typhoon. I didn't think it was getting much love or attention. And every Arsenal I receive is like, I have a Typhoon and I love it. What can I get that pairs well with it? So I think the Monsoon will do well with that.
I think the reason why that is because there just aren't many balls in that range.
Yeah,
but the High Road 40 is right there. I would assume a High Road would
way
be
weaker.
Yeah,
Typhoon
yeah, but it's like
way
general, like same price range.
Which one's
like,
weaker?
Color wise? He was saying High Road 40.
No, the Typhoon is way weaker.
Oh, you're saying Typhoon is weaker.
40.
Sorry.
Yeah, I like the High Road 40 a lot more than I like.
I think the Monsoon, you're going to be careful with how much surface it has on it. Like, I think some of them have come out really, really dull. And I think that they're a little better when you take the surface up a little bit. Because I think that if they've got too much surface on them, you end up having the surface arguing with the fact that the cover and the core aren't as strong as you think they are.
I do feel like a 2,000 or 3,000 and a pretty good maintenance routine on that ball is probably important, because the lane shines fast. And then it doesn't, then you lose some of the back end, and there's not a ton there, so you don't want to lose much of it. But I do feel like keeping it at 2,000-3,000 and on a regular basis is pretty important with that ball.
Does the fast absorbent? I don't know if you answered this one when I had to just pop out.
Not.
No, we didn't.
Does the fast absorbent cover of the concept affect how fast you guys move from the transition? Not for me.
I don't think so.
No, it flares so little. While it does absorb oil quickly, it doesn't seem to tear the lane up like some of the bigger fast absorbing balls have in the past, which I don't have a good answer of why, because absorbing is absorbing. But
is throwing the axe with surface up the gutter the same concept, same category as the concept? No, not really. That axe is way, 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 way weaker.
Also, doesn't absorb oil very quickly.
Yeah. I mean,
non-absorbing reactive, I believe is what they call it. But it's effectively, like an 80, much like the mix, an 80 hardness.
I mean, it rolled really good for a bunch of people. Even funny story. Bill actually used it on Chameleon, I think it might have been, on the Fresh O'Neill. And Frankie heard about this. So Frankie goes, "Hey, Bill, what did you use on the Fresh?" And he goes, "An axe." And he goes, "I'm embarrassed for you."
That was one of the qualifyings I went to, and I walk in. It was for the night shift, and I see Dom throw a 279 with that mix.
Yeah,
playing like
he was so mad. Oh my god, he was.
Yeah,
so
he didn't
mad
look happy, but it was stupid.
He was so mad. He was just like, "I can't believe I'm doing this." Like he had it on the spinner hitting with 360. He was, like I drilled one for Chia. It wasn't very good for me. But yeah.
Axe is like the twist. I
think the twist is like the Zero Mercy Solid in comparison to the axe.
Yeah, so that thing was sideways as I remember it compared to the axe.
I don't think you understand the humor of professional bowlers. Like this was 2 days after Ryan and Bill and Tommy were giving Ryan you just don't understand. You were born bowling on these short patterns and having urethane balls. Let's see how you do with reactive balls. Like back in my day. So the fact that Bill then jumped on the uber millennial train of smashing surface on a spare ball and twatting it at the head pin is 100% why Frankie was giving him a hard time. Like
watching that might be the most underutilized word in bowling.
Bill,
I need to use that more.
Bill, like that comes into the when us one-handers start to get a little bit jealous of the two-handers. You don't want to know how many times when the two-handers are throwing urethane and you overhear one of the older thumb bowlers saying, "These no talent assholes throwing these fucking urethanes on everything." So if you don't understand that part of it, that's probably why you think that Frankie wasn't in any position to judge. Bill was supposed to be one of us, and he traitored to the other side.
Yep, he crossed the picket line. I wasn't even there, and I won't talk to him. So I don't,
TWAT. It could be 2 T's and then ing. Traitor. Yes, he traitored to the other side. He was way too old to be throwing a fucking axe. At least Dom knew it was a joke and was embarrassed.
Yeah, you might be right, Daniel. That might
probably.
Dear. Yes.
We've kept you for an extra half hour longer than we said we would.
That's fine.
Please, he's a content creator. He's got nothing better to be doing.
I'm unemployed. What else do you think I'm going to do? I'm about to eat ice cream on the couch now.
There you go. The 26 PA regional 43 tonight, 32.5 tuna. Not used to sport patterns. One of those regional 43s won't be much like a sport pattern. I mean, it is because it's more blended, but it's very user friendly.
He also bowls. Grump also bowls in Wisconsin and some high friction places as well.
I was about to say, I think for me, the key to those patterns specifically is finding where the hook spot is. So like, don't be afraid of like trying to use the track a little bit, because the defined part of the lane will be quite crucial, especially on something that's like 43 feet.
Yeah.
Like if the track is pretty dominant, like you'll find that your ball can get a little bit further right than maybe you think it should on 43 feet.
He's a lefty, by the way. I should also preface with that.
Okay. Well,
so that'll change too.
Same, just different. Yeah. Your track won't be as thick. If you're left-handed, just throw the urethane ball at the head.
Just throw it up 10. 5 will be fine. 11 will be fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine.
See, Chris had 3 weeks with Couch, and now he's bitter again.
Oh my God! Sorry about that. He was so worried about. You have to say nice things about me on TV. And Zach was not this Zach, but TV Grim, the guy at PBA Zach. He goes, no, I'm not paying him for that. And so, Jay, the best thing that happened for you is I'm working with Dave Ryan, and he spent 20 years telling everybody how bad on TV I was. So you're probably okay. I'm probably not going to be that guy. So,
Chris, this one's over to you because you actually bowled on it.
I did. Yeah, and if you watch the show, you saw it in a different version. That was day 3. That was who did bowl on? Hurt and Andres Gomez and Hess won. But it's 46 feet. It is fairly. It's got some shape to it. And generally speaking, you could use the track. If you lofted the front a little bit, you could use bigger balls like what Hess did. Bionic is always a good play in 90% of centers on something like this. Flatting a spare ball at the head. It's not bad. Yeah.
I'm glad you saw the fun side of it, Grumper.
Yeah, know what I've seen. Yeah, going back to his, it really is going to be like 12 to 8 kind of thing. You're going to start somewhere between there, depending on how straight or and probably medium big. If you're a storm guy, Bionic's an easy call in that pattern. They were user friendly. You don't have to go to default to urethane or anything to control the pocket. Mm-hmm. They were pretty playable. The Petraglia one, there was some concepts and things used on that pattern, especially the places where they hooked early, because it forced you left and it wasn't super developed. It was pretty long down there, so it let you stay close to the head pin. I used that on the fresh a little bit on that. Hess used a little bit bigger balls and was able to loft the front a little bit more, going to rockets and things like that. It is pretty thin for a long time, and so the front does hook more. If you don't loft it, you're going to have to end up in the medium category and keep your speed down. But you start 12, 13 to 17, depending where you're at, rev dominant, speed dominant wise. And then
when he says 12 to 17, he means between 12 and 17
at the arrows,
not 12 to 17.
No, well, 17 and a half at 59 and a half feet is a pretty good spot to be at, but unless you're two-handed, then somewhere between 14 and 18 apparently is fine.
Yeah. Please suggest a concept layout. Concerned about jumping in, fire in with the questions. What do each of you have for a layout on the concept? 250. I think that stronger pins and shorter buffers have been really good. So like
tall, strong pins,
3.5-inch pin and a 1-inch buffer is pretty good, I think.
We played around with other ones. It always, all the guys that throw them end up with kind of the same thing. They're strongest of their strong drillings, and then you just manage surface basically. Yeah, when you want to hook earlier, you just put more surface on it.
You can add a lot of surface to that ball and not really be in. Does that kind of jive with what you've been seeing, Zach?
Yeah, anything around a 4-inch pin or lower is generally best, between that 3.5 and 4. Some guys have been trying 5-inch pins that I've heard, and it's not a good idea. The ball already doesn't flare.
Well, it's 0.16.
Yeah,
0.016 or something.
You can't make it flare less, and there's no reason to.
Lefty's chiming in.
Like I don't know, like a 60 or a 65 by like 3.5 by like 10 maybe.
Yeah, I'd say 10-degree val angle is pretty good comparison. It's always hard to go.
There's actually the chart. Storm actually have a conversion spreadsheet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was my fun part about it, I always give it a shout out for it. It was actually wrote by Steve Klumpkin's wife, Marcia. So she did the math for that.
I need to find that. I get that question all the time.
She was complaining about starting every box with a bad game, then started with 520. Well, after Couch led the first two, he figured out that wine and win was the right way to go. And so, WJC.
I don't believe I'm going to go to the Lucky Larson. It's just, it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of those traveling to tournaments are about the experiences rather than necessarily the good deal. So a lot of the time it's like part of the equation is the fact that you get to go and experience something new and you have an opportunity to make some money. The cost to value proposition of me has got worse over time because I'm not bowling as well. Yeah. But also I've experienced a lot of those things. So I'm not really getting, I don't have that part of the equation. If I was still bowling as well as I was relative to the field, then it wouldn't really matter. But as I'm not, it's kind of like, okay, the upside is not really that high and the costs are quite high. And I'm not really experiencing anything new because I've been there. So that's kind of why it's become to me a bit like, eh. I think that Chris is somewhat in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at the top of my game, and it was like I felt like I wasn't going to finish out of the top 16 or 20, although that tournament has turned into a much bigger, deeper, talented field. It's not going in the Middle East. There wasn't going to be 20 top tier players. So that's kind of where you grow your line of, okay, what do I make at this point? Are my expenses less or more than that? Determine whether I win or not. Well, now Sweden's a $2,000, $2,500 trip, and let's face it, my chances of winning aren't what they were 10 or 15 years ago.
You've been over with Ryan a couple of times.
Yeah, I've gone over. He's going over with Bonta. They're going to have a great time. They both have a chance to win. It's exactly what they should do. You know, I don't need to go over there. I've been to Copenhagen and down there at the pier and along the sea. It's
You've seen the shitty little angel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't need to ride scooters and break my arm or anything else. I'm good.
The mermaid, rather. Google the mermaid in Copenhagen. It's like everybody goes on about it, and then you get there and you're like, where is it? Is that it? Like, seriously? Like, that's what we're getting excited about?
That's it?
It's on an abandoned cove by the bleachers.
Yeah.
Stu or Chris's? Wasn't mine.
It wasn't mine. Mine's still here. Yeah, I bought all of my balls back. I didn't leave any behind. I had space, and there was a million balls that got left behind. And I feel like if I'm going to donate the balls that I have, I'm going to donate them into the community that I'm part of. I feel like that is a much better goodwill type of gesture. Like you see, straight away type of thing, you get something.
There you go. Yeah. There's a conversion. Yeah, most of the time at the last stop there was
60 40? By 3.5 by 1. Do you mean 10?
Yeah, probably 10.
Because 1 degree would be quite aggressive.
Be wild.
That's a combination of dual and
yeah. Well, it's dual angle becoming
But anyway, yeah. So, I hadn't thrown a double with a cove, so it was not mine. It did not make it out to a TOC qualifying.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Perfect.
I was like, did you do like front half dual angle
back out? That's the last Saturday. Yeah, well, all right. Do you all still bowl because you enjoy it or good? Can make money. Some of both. The senior tour is not necessarily about making a lot of money, for sure. And I bowl league, and I just like to bowl with who I like to bowl with now. So, Sweden for me, I'll either bowl long view doubles with somebody I like, or I'll go bowl Team USA senior zones. One of those two.
I think Longview doesn't clash this year, but I might be wrong.
Okay.
But no, I'll bowl with somebody I can win with. Come on, Simo. Come on down. Come on, man. Let's run it back. I was terrible again this year. We can run it back.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, no idea what their plans are. I literally found out I was doing those shows on Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, 4 days ahead of time. I didn't know anything, and then I was doing 6 of them.
What a deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
worked out all right.
It sure did. It was for not making any shows. It ended up being a pretty good week. But it is fun doing a bunch of shows like that. It's hard to step in there and do one-offs, once a year, twice a year, and catch any rhythm. And the first show was a little, and then as you keep going, then you start to you do start to catch some rhythm and get comfortable and expand and improve on day-to-days and try and do better at different things, because it's all moving at you so fast that there are things you would miss, and you're going to get criticized because you are going to miss. You're going to miss a ball somewhere. You're going to say something, you're going to misspeak, or, hey, I really want to get in that nugget about whatever it is. Say I wanted to talk about the wins of a company versus another, and sometimes you just don't. You don't get to it. So.
Especially when some of the players are moving so fast. I remember seeing Hoope and the Chameleon Show just flying through his shot.
Oh yeah, they missed so many of them.
The production crew could not catch up to him, and yet Sherman, I think, on the same show.
Yes.
So
they could catch up to him.
Yeah, they had plenty of time to watch Hoope throw both shots before Kyle got there.
The crowd is hilarious there. They would they were clapping for like whoever was going, and then everyone would be like, oh no, pause, because Mitch would be like 2 steps into his approach.
Yeah, he's moving.
So just to put a bow on this at the minute, let's do a rapid fire ball questions for Zach. If you've got any in the chat, go for it. But it'll be something like okay. So best super strong ball.
And for any company?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah.
Zero Mercy has had the highest sales. It's weirdly quicker than a lot of big super strong balls. As a tournament guy, I like the Ion Max better because it's so slow down lane. But Zero Mercy is just a more usable piece for a lot more bowlers, especially ones who don't need that super strong ball. Otherwise, I like to go down to Equinox Solid, the Black Widow Dynasty. Those balls I think are more usable for more people, but the best one for super strong is probably Zero Mercy for most.
I feel like the Zero Mercy Solid has actually filled that gap that quite a lot of the league bowlers want, where they want to see motion down lane, but they want something that's really going to pick up.
Yes. Yeah, it's one of the few balls that does that.
So you have $150. What ball are you buying?
Ooh, $150. God, the Next Factor deal was kind of sick. I like that deal a lot, especially.
Yeah, but I'm really just talking about
in general.
Because we're looking at kind of that monsoon scenario, danger zone, I've got the thrills. I think are probably maybe a little bit more than that.
Thrills are about 130 right now.
Oh, okay,
for retail. I would say Monsoon is probably the top storm option. Monsoon or Typhoon, depends on what you're looking for. If you want dull or shiny, Brunswick side, the danger zones are a sick deal, but the game breakers are also cheaper than 150. So I would go one of the game breakers.
Okay,
they're just a lot of hook for under $150. And Motive, the only balls they have under 150 are the Thrill. So I'd go Max Thrill Hybrid. That's a lot of balls.
Is that the one that's blue and purpley?
Yes, that's the blue and purple.
EJ uses that one a lot. That's one of his favorites, actually.
Yeah, it's weirdly strong. I had one, and it was just a weird shape for me. Because the cover seemed very strong, but also the core is pretty rolly. And it is also a Motive ball, which makes sense in that too. But no, that one was good for a lot of guys as well.
Do you prefer stronger covers or stronger cores?
Oh, stronger cover, 100%. Yeah, stronger cores can have a problem where they overperform compared to the cover. And I think in history, we've seen a lot of strong cover, weaker core balls do a little bit better.
Thoughts on the Spawn as a replacement for Envy Tour?
No, a lot of guys are saying
stronger?
It is. Yeah, the Spawn is a new all black one. And I think a lot of people are getting it confused because it is the same color. Bowlers, we sometimes compare bowling balls that look the same, but
100%.
Yeah. The Spawn is a super strong ASIM core in it. And it's a super strong
Which one
cover.
was it? It was one of the other.
That was what Wilkins threw.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's which core was it? Because it's one of the ones that they had.
Oh, the gauntlet
Core. Yeah.
Yep, the old gauntlet core. So
That
it's like
ball
a 250
really,
RG.
That ball didn't really hit that well. It didn't feel
No.
I mean, in the market, not in the
Yeah.
pins.
Yep.
Somebody asked direct hit or something I made in my garage.
Stu, do you know the torpedo direct hit?
I know the direct hit, but I don't know.
Yeah, the torpedo direct hit is a basically plastic cover stock. It's that Axe cover stock
massive core.
Massive core. Yeah, and I made fun of that ball forever.
Wow.
Because
that's how long we've been going. My lights are on auto and they switched off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it was. I've made fun of that ball a lot. I don't think it's useful for many people. It actually caused a ball reviewer to quit ball reviewing because he saw it as a money grab. Was his exact quote. It was Ben from Bowler's Paradise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unless you're highly rev dominant on some burnt lanes and you want to play up 10, that is when you should use the direct hit.
Seems like you've made friends with that ball.
I've made a lot of friends in the industry in the last couple of years.
Vengeance or Bionic? I mean,
Bionic.
Yeah,
Vengeance is sick. It's not getting the love it deserves, I think, a lot of the time. Yeah, I was talking to Jason Guest last week at Nationals, and he loves his. And a lot of guys out there are having some pretty decent success with it. For that situation, though, which isn't really, most house shot guys. The Bionic, in my opinion, is the best league ball in the market right now.
I like the Storm Rolling Thunder.
Oh, the 3-ball bag.
I
don't know bags.
No, I believe they want you to come up with a 3-ball bag.
Oh,
if you were to do a 3-ball bag.
Oh God, there's 115 balls in the market. That's going to take me hours.
But by the way, I am seriously contemplating it. Amazon sell a square 4-ball bag. I'm seriously contemplating buying one for Nationals because I get 70-pound bags.
Oh,
and if that fucker will be under 70, tempted to just slap a Storm patch right on the top of the logo, and that might be my new bag for Nationals. Because being able to take that extra ball, roll that bitch around.
You know how you can do that? I'll make a video soon of how you make a Rolling Thunder into a 4-ball bag.
No, but I can't check that.
Oh, true. You just have to
this thing is like
3 bags anyway.
This thing is like literally like a 4-ball case box on wheels.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Storm make one, but it's a Asian thing. Like it, because one of the guys in league actually has one. I was like, that would be awesome to go to Nationals with when you got the 70-pound bags, on Delta or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
I just came back from Nationals, and being able to avoid that cost would be really nice.
So
that's very annoying.
Real quick, because I have got to go and pick up the groceries from the store. I'm getting on Delta because I am a 1 million miler.
That's cute.
Yeah. That's only because I flew for forever when I was flying Ryanair.
Jeez, Ryanair. There you
go. It's a little harder to rack up miles when you go from England to anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, it's like going from
miles. It's like going from Texas
Dallas
to like
Missouri.
Louisiana. So,
drive.
What did you think of Nationals? Obviously, they're playing a little softer than last year. Team and singles and doubles like somewhat similar relative to last year in terms of like shapes and stuff.
Yeah, the only difference I saw in team is that the gutter actually hooks a little bit. Or last year in Baton Rouge, like that gutter, no matter how much you tried beating it up, wouldn't really
in team
ever.
What 150 game one.
Yeah. And we got, last year my team shot 3,000 and we were top 100 score. It was insane. But no, it's a lot easier. It builds up pretty quickly. A couple of guys who just took the team record, I was out there when they were, and they just extended the pattern. It was one of the first times I've seen people extend the pattern in the last couple of years, and it worked super, super well. They just do plastic up between like 10, 11, 12. My team started a little bit too far right and our fronts got destroyed. I wanted to throw a concept a little bit and the fronts were just a little bit too beat up for it. But team develops pretty quickly as long as you don't play too crazy of angles. Gutter on team will tease you. Yeah, if you don't beat it up enough, then
what are you calling the gutter?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that was my team's plan, was we play right up the gutter, but in 2026, when people say that, they actually lay it down around 7, 8, 9 and throw it to 1, 2, 3 down lane.
Anyway, I've got to run because I got to go get the groceries. So you guys finish up, but like have a little chat about singles and doubles.
But singles and doubles felt identical as well. Team felt like there might have been a little bit of a speed bump down lane. I don't know how factual that was. It's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
But it was easier than other years. If you play as a team, you can make them really nice. I went Concept, Ion Pro, and then I threw an Ebonite Spartan, which is a big ASIM solid that I had a bunch of polish on, and that looked really good. I was able to keep my angles a little more in front of me. And then when the Ion Pro,
team or doubles and singles?
that was team, actually both technically, but team, that's what I started with. Doubles and singles, the Concept looked a lot better on the fresh. I started like 230. And then just slowly inched in with an Ion Pro and a Spartan again. Once the fronts went away and it started just being a little bit squirrely.
And you see much urethane this year?
No. The guys who tried urethane could not carry. This year, it's a little bit more about carry than it was last year. Last year, if you just hit the pocket a lot, you were going to cash. This year, I mean, all events is over 1,800 to cash. So you got to strike a little bit.
Team were really hard. And I felt like a few of those years I'd missed by not playing far enough right, in team event. And so I gave it a little go and got faked out a couple of shots where I threw a couple of aces and it was fine. And then it was not.
Yep.
And then ironically in team, almost all the very few good scores there were mostly PBA guys, and they were mostly from fourth arrow and creating a lot of angle to create some hold. Double and singles was pretty straightforward. There was obviously a speed bump down lane, and that was glide, which we didn't know much about at the time. But you could not go left to right very much because you created hang for, you made an easy pattern hard when you created too much hang. Now I've seen since then some people are moving in and able to beat it up a little more.
Yeah, I think I had a bunch of higher rev rate guys on my side, and they all threw kind of medium-ish balls. One threw a TNT a lot of the time. That was probably the strongest ball we saw in the pair. And then we just slowly inched in. I think the furthest left I got was 15 at the arrows, 15 to like 6. And there was room. There was plenty of hold. There's plenty of volume in the middle where you could build up a decent amount of hold. There was hook outright if you got far enough left later on. No, it wasn't anything crazy difficult. I shot like 1976. So I had 520 at the turn for singles, and doubles, I think my partner and I started like 490. So that one's really about just making sure you don't create a cliff. That's the biggest issue. That's what we ran into in our final game, and they got disgusting for a lot of us. Just if you can avoid a cliff, you're good to go. Oh, I say the same thing to him about the TNT. I tell him this is the dumbest ball, and he adores it. Super heavy ball roll. Very low axis rotation, high rev rate, 450, 475 rev rate, and he loves it.
Yeah, I think that was. I rarely, there's rarely zeros, but that was a 10 out of 10. Do not recommend to any style that I could come up with that I thought. And somebody wants to ask you best spare ball that doesn't crack easily and is available.
I've been using a mix. I haven't had a mix crack on me ever. It hasn't spider webbed at all. A lot of my actual plastic balls have. Like I had an ice before, I had a T-zone before, and those would crack a little bit more than like a mix or an axe or Motive's newest one. Aspire is the name of that one. So those don't crack as much. Just keep the polish up on them to make sure that they go straight, because they can hook if you get them a little more dull. So just keep the polish on them, keep them super shiny, and you'll be a-okay.
For someone who's never been to nationals, what would you give an estimate of all-inclusive costs, not counting a flight? The entry so long ago, I don't even know.
I would say when I booked mine, it was a little bit cheaper. That was before prices skyrocketed, especially for flights and gas and all that. I would say I put about $375 for a flight from Minnesota, and that's because there's no direct flights. What'd you say?
Not counting flights.
Oh, he said not counting flight. Oh, my bad. Honestly, I mean, entry fees, what, $250 for the whole event? $200? It's not much. And then hotel isn't, I mean, if you're going during the week, staying at casinos during the week is a steal a lot of the time. If you stay on weekends, it usually gets to $100 to $200 a night, but otherwise it can be pretty cheap in the middle of the week. It's not crazy expensive. Outside of flights, it'll be under, I think, 1,000, especially with food and all that. You get plenty of deals out there this year. Like, big kudos to USBC for having all these deals with Caesars. There's so many places where you're getting half off a pizza or 20% off at a cafe or things like that. So you can eat fairly cheap.
There was a conversation not so long ago, especially in Reno. They were gouging, and you know, it's easy to throw a lot of a shade at Chad, but he stepped in at that point. It was only a few weeks in, and they backed off on prices, lowered the prices at the stadium, started some of these things, which obviously now I hadn't heard this yet. So they're expanding some of their deals for the bowlers that are coming in, and because they do need to turn it around. I think Reno is one of the best places in the world to bowl a big tournament at, but their surrounding parts of it have to be a little more accepting.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs to be a little bit better trip other than the bowling and things like that. Things like food and some of these deals are good. That area down there is actually really nice. You can walk 2 or 3 blocks, be at the river, and there's restaurants and a bunch of things that are around the casinos as well. But
there's a baseball stadium with the Reno Aces there.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of cool things, and they've cleaned it up a lot. I know Jeff Riggles had a comment about that because he was there a couple of weeks ago. They've cleaned up Reno quite a bit.
The bus station's on the other side, so you don't have to walk through that anymore, and some of that element that used to surround it. But
yeah, they do a good job, and they very much put the deals in your face. Like, you walk into the National Bowling Stadium, you start going up the escalators. There was somebody working there 24/7 who was giving you the deals, like on a sheet of paper. Like, hey, here's all the deals you get while you're here as a bowler. And they're anywhere you go in the main 3 casinos that are connected, you're getting a deal in some way, shape, or form.
Well, that's good, because food is certainly one of the most expensive costs these days. I mean, a normal week on tour is getting closer to $1,500 than not, including entry fee. Without flight and all that, you're looking at, like I said, during the week, the rates are pretty reasonable, probably including resort fee. You're at $70, $80 a night. On the weekends, you're going to be closer to $120 to $150. And then food. I mean, it got there for Vegas has gotten ridiculous, where you can't actually eat for less than $25 a meal, really anywhere without leaving, and just going to get fast food somewhere. But so you're $100 a day for food in Vegas. It sounds like it's going to be better than that in Rio. They do have a food court there inside of that's fairly reasonable. It's actually normal prices, not casino prices. So
the
deli place and something else. Yeah.
The sub place is incredible. It's $10 and you can get a full 12-inch sub. It's awesome.
Yeah. So it's not awful. As far as brackets, obviously you can spend as much as $5,000 a squad if you want. Or you can spend none, and get a few pots for $50 and call it good.
Yeah. Or you can shoot 7-10 in singles and not make a single and break even like I did. That was really fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The scores are going to be higher, and if you're on a really good squad. And way back in the day when I was with Healy and Gaines and Bob Goyke and some Hall of Famers, and we bowled the convention week. And so there was all these Team USA teams and all, you get 5, 6, 7 teams on there. So making money in your squad, there was a lot of action, but it was hard to make money on that squad. Now it's way more about the year-long stuff, because you may not have a lot of people on your squad necessarily.
Yeah, especially depending on the time you get. Like, I had a 7 a.m. squad. I had very few regular bowlers on my squad. So it was like my tournament team is passing money to each other, basically.
Yeah. And we've had a couple of those, and so we just don't play hardly much. I'm on the senior side, so I'll play more of the year-long stuff and just leave the squad stuff to the other guys on the team to play against whoever's left. But what else? Can you just sign up to sub out? Yeah, there's a sub board out there. And there's people that always have somebody that cancels late. If you just want to bowl, it probably won't be a great team, but you'll get to bowl.
You'll have to be pretty quick though, because usually they go to that when they need someone within 48 hours. That's the one issue some of the time with the sub board.
Yeah, it gets hard. I think you can put a window when you can be there too, and some of those things. But
Yep.
yeah, you can put it on now, and then maybe somebody in June already knows that they're gonna, say somebody in Janowitz who's not going to bowl the next couple months, and he was on our companion team, and they're trying to get a guy,
Mhm.
trying to find the best fit. So
Yeah.
let's see. If there was a ball that would make you quit reviewing, what would have it been?
Yeah. Well, I don't review balls is the thing. I don't get any balls from any of the companies. So my reviews are research, watching everybody else go through it. So if there really is a ball that bad, I get to watch everybody else struggle, and then I can just report back is going to be the nice thing. So yeah, there's really nothing that would cause me to. Yeah, if the direct hit has knocked one person out in the review game, we'll see if there's another one in the future.
Get your Caesars card with the bowler sticker.
I did see they didn't ask for a bowler sticker at all.
Okay.
The entire time. I used my fiance's Caesars card the whole time, and nobody batted an eye.
You just flashed it to them, and they were like, "Okay."
Yep, they're like, "Yeah, they'll ask you like, are you a bowler?" And half the time, you can tell if you're in a jersey. You're like, "I'll be in this quarter zip," and it looks like it.
Yeah.
But other times, like, you can just be like, "Yeah, I am," and here's my Caesars card, and then you're good to go, and you get the 20-30% off.
Comps to casino hotel. Yeah, Gabe, but we both know those aren't free.
Yeah,
so
you're spending
just paying
more
for it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
The car museum is cool if you're a car guy, and I'm not a huge car guy, but it's even cool enough that even if you're not a car guy, there's some pretty cool stuff around there too, and that's walkable too. It's not that far away.
Everything in Reno is pretty walkable. I know I went maybe 1.5 miles to this big market that they had, and it wasn't a hard walk or anything. It's not like you're veering through traffic or anything. It's pretty quiet in a lot of the town.
Yeah. Storm ice has started hooking badly in spares. Best way to resurface. If you're on, I don't know, I guess even on synthetics now, some places they get pretty tracked up. And so I'd probably just go back to take it down to 500 again, and then just take it back up all the way. Whereas with reactive balls, you suggest 360 or 500 and skipping several steps and going up to say 3,000 and then polish or whatever you want it at. With spare balls is more old school. So you go 500,000, 2,000, probably even 3,000, and then put polish back on it. And that should get your smooth surface back on it again, where it'll go straighter. And if you have anything else, Zach, because obviously most of the time ours crack before, I mean, actually I have an ice now. It's in season 2. And so, which it's been a while since I had one that stood the test of time, and it fits fine and whatever. Interchangeable thumbs make it easy to go back and forth if you want. So
yes, absolutely.
So that was the other thing, is I would leave one on tour, so to speak, and then when I was at home, I just used a different ball for spares. So I just wasn't beating up the same one all the time.
Makes sense. Yeah, and I'm bad where I don't practice spares all that often, so I'm throwing at them, in my once a week league, otherwise tournaments on the weekend. So I don't put as much wear and tear as guys who bowl 4 leagues a week would.
Here's totally walkable. Also got a Target delivery to our hotel for food and snacks.
I did that too. Yeah, it was completely free. I got it from Walmart. I needed some KT tape for my wrist, and it was
good. It was tip.
I think what?
Good tip. I hadn't even thought about that. So.
Yep. Yeah. So here, like, this is more even a life tip in general. So we have the Walmart, I think it's Walmart Plus is what it's called. It's like $10 a month, and you get free delivery 24/7, and you can do it anywhere. So we share it like with my fiance's grandma, who's a snowbird, and she lives in Arizona. So she uses it in Arizona. We use it in Minnesota. We went out to Reno like, hey, we need a couple things. Can we do this? And sure enough, they brought it to the front desk and kept it for us.
Nice.
I think there was like a drink in there, and they kept that refrigerated, which was really nice of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which hotel did you stay at?
What'd you say?
Which hotel did you go with?
I was in El Dorado.
Okay.
Yeah. I was at Circus my first year I went, and that is such a long walk because we were in like the far tower. So we wanted
it is the cheapest. If you're looking to save the most money, that's the cheapest. It's the oldest tower. Silver Legacy it's not that new anymore. It's the newest of the 3. I tend to stay at El Dorado. I just have over the years. But But yeah,
it's so easy to get to the stadium from there. It's like right out the door. You're good to go.
Well, this sounds like Zach and Luke could have their own podcast, because then you wouldn't need Sue and I at all. They'd have enough information,
Yeah. I'm actually going to the Ozarks with Luke in a couple of weeks.
Sue and I just be in the way. I mean, Extra Frame is literally how this thing started. Is we both miss cuts, and then we just jump in the booth because we just like bowling, and you just start talking about whatever you saw on the balls and what they're doing, and people liked it. And then COVID hit, and we went, "Hey, why don't we do something to give a little value back to the companies that are paying us?" And there we go.
And these are more valuable, I think, than you and Stu realize a lot of the time, because it's very hard to find a good bowling podcast out there. There just aren't that many of them that get this deep into information and bowling balls and tips and tricks. And there are so many little things that you can pull from what you guys are talking about. Like, it's a conversation of like two professionals in a sport just talking, and it's awesome.
Well, and it's really driven by we have great fans, because it's all driven by our fans. If they don't want to talk about bowling, or they want to talk about balls, we talk about whatever. It can be, as you say, today we're on nationals now.
Yep.
So, but that's what our guys do. We have bowlers. And so this has to be a long shot. It might be. We've got on a good day where everybody's kind of, well, Stu had to pick up groceries, but other than that, so apparently he doesn't have Target delivery. So,
no, and I should be telling him this.
Right. We're going to have to pass it on. I have to clip it, send it to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to go? We have kept you forever. So
no, that's all good. Yeah, no, I have nothing. Thank you so much for inviting me on. This has been awesome. Been a huge fan of your guys' pod for years now, so it's awesome to be here and great to bring in some of the guys. I know there's a lot of guys in the chat who follow me and jump on my live streams every week, so it's awesome to see them jumping in here as well and seeing all of your guys' awesome fans. It's awesome to see.
That's the same. And tell everybody where to find you and all your different things.
Yeah. So you can find me on ZVL Bowling on basically every social media site. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on Patreon now. Basically any social media that you can think of except for X, you're going to be able to find ZVL Bowling in some way, shape, or form.
Very good deal. And there's a lot of good stuff there. And indeed, you are independent. And that's the one thing that we don't offer. Obviously we see a lot of balls, and during the tour season, we can have a lot of opinions about those balls and what we see, and the ones we see the most of, which is probably the best teller of all of what, how good balls are. But indeed, you have all of it. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been the goal. So we'll keep that going. Yeah. Good luck with that. Hey, thank you, Ringing 10. Although Ringing 10 almost threw me under the bus with the Sweep the Rack podcast, guys. He came into their chat and told them I'm stealing their content, and one of them started freaking out a little bit. Turns out they started doing a how to improve bowling series right when I started doing that on TikTok. So they did not like that much. But it ended up not. I didn't know they were doing it. They didn't know I was doing it, but it riled them up a little bit, which was pretty funny. So thanks, Ringing 10, for that.
Yeah, who knew we could talk without you here? I don't know. We were just talking about how you needed to get on the Target and Walmart delivery plan.
Yep, $10 a month, Stu. Walmart Plus, good to go.
Just saving time in your life right here. So
it's the goal. No peace.
All right, guys. Thanks again, Zach, for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's been insightful. I do enjoy your content, and obviously the fact it's so independent, and love seeing someone grow organically through this thing. It's been fun to watch your popularity. So
yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, until next time, guys, we should be back. Well, Stu will be back Tuesday. I'll be in Colorado, probably bowling again. So, Zach, you might be replacing me soon. So,
that's fine. My Tuesdays and Thursdays are free now.
There you go. So in between now and then, please support the sponsors that support us: Storm, Rotogrip, Banner Global, Coolwood, Bowlers Mark, Fire Lake Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and Platinum Forward. Well, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.